Hello, and welcome to the Horror House Podcast. I'm Dave.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jeff.
I forgot the order. I was like, wait, now it's Jeff? No? I don't know. Anyways.
Fuck the order. Don't forget the chaos.
Yeah. So, we're the only podcast that has more tangents than Mike Flanagan has flashback scenes. And we're talking about 2013 Oculus. And I'm going to make sure that the audio's working.
I have faith in you. I have faith in you. I had faith in you last week too, but I have faith in you.
Okay, I think we're working.
With all of the technical difficulties we had last week, it was still a better production than the shortcut.
That may be. That could very well be. I am not. Sorry.
I'm not centered.
These seem like things
we
we should have already did.
Yeah.
But we
You would think. I think we did when it was just the two of us, and now we're all three.
I use my keyboard. My keyboard pulls out, and that's where my marker is in my brain. When it's pulled out all the way, and I'm sitting where I should be, that's how I line myself up. It was not pulled out. And anyways, there are our names. In case you're like me and forgot the order and got real confused at the beginning, it's understandable. I forgive you.
Who are these guys?
Jeff
Who are
never
these
forgets,
guys,
though. Mine like a steel trap. That one. I'm gonna figure that out one day. Here's some social medias. Me and Dave are on Blue Sky. Jeff, are you on Blue Sky yet? Are you one of the cool people that are on also Blue Sky now?
Yeah, I signed up for it.
I'll have to change this and add those because I don't remember what mine is right now either. I know Dave's. Wait, do I? Horror House Dave?
Me.
I think it's Horror House Dave.
Was that Horror House Dave? I think you're right. I'm not going to check right now. You're right. I'm confident. I'm confident in you. And here's to your victory, getting that right. I'm certain that you got it right.
I gave you like the sensei thing. Like, thank you, sensei.
Loving on a little red stag.
Okay.
Shiny Heiny.
Got to do the surprise
All right,
Mothman,
kid.
but every now and then, nobody's
Get
ever
out your
pointed it out
decoder
to me.
rings. Get out your decoder rings. Did you get it right? The placement of the Shiny Heiny tonight. That's your first clue. The boomers right now are going crazy. They're like, "Oh, Martha, get my decoder ring."
I tell you one thing that I did not do is change the name of our stream from last week. So we're not talking about Tormented again, even though that may be what it says.
Lies.
It is a lie. I don't currently know how to change that. So we'll just have to not worry about that. And just do our best.
The best around.
Which kind of sucks because we need to bring in the people for Oculus. The Oculus fans. But that's okay. That's okay.
Bring in the Flanagan fans.
The Flan boys.
Fans. The Flan boys. I love it.
Before we maybe please or really offend some Mike Flanagan fans, I don't know. I don't know where you guys stand with this movie. I don't know where I stand with this movie. It's anybody's guess.
You're gonna surprise yourself.
Maybe. I have raised my grade several times during the course of us talking about a movie. I think I've also lowered it maybe a couple times too. It's anybody's anybody's guess at this point.
It's the deep dives. It's the discussion kind of sometimes makes you. I don't think it change. Obviously, it doesn't change the movie, but it changes your perspective on the movie and how deep or shallow the movie may be. So.
Yeah. But that said, a lot of people, several hundreds of people, come here for their news, political. Like what other types of news are there? Economic, all
food news,
food
news,
and also horror news. So let's get our caps on. Dave will be charging you a cent, and you know who you are for this news.
No, you know who you are.
We made it. We did it.
Love it. Okay.
So, let's now talk about some horror news. Who's got some news? Who's got? One of you guys got some news? Give me some news. Jeff don't have any news. Dave, you got news?
So, Neon, who is really done some good stuff in the last couple of years, but they picked up a new Micah Monroe movie, and Micah Monroe seems everywhere in horror right now. But they picked up a new Micah Monroe vampire horror movie called Brides, and that's really all I know about it. I get the feeling it might be a Bride of Frankenstein thing. I absolutely don't know, and I'm not going to look into it. I'm going to assume it is and say I'm going to watch it.
All right. I'm on board. I'll do the same.
Okay. If you want to feel old news,
I'm about there already.
Tom Hanks is 68 years old. And Tom Cruise is 62 years old. If you want to feel old, just know that Tom Cruise is 62 years old.
In Scientologist years, how many years old is he, though?
7.
He's going to live forever. What'd you call him before? Years ago? You used to call him something Jesus.
Scientology Jesus. Scientology Jesus.
Something's gonna go haywire during one of his Mission Impossible stunts, and he will transform like the Transformers into Scientology Jesus, and it could be rad. That could be what brings a lot of people on board.
He's going to be. I heard in his next movie, he is going to be a fancy pants bartender on the wing of an airplane as it fights an alien invasion, and when he films that stunt on his own, because he likes to do his own stunts, the thetans are going to explode out of him onto the earth, like thetan jism, just all over the world. We're all getting a thetan facial.
Please, sir.
So, I really only have one other thing that looked interesting to me. There's some steel books coming out. There is a 20th anniversary of Constantine coming out on 4K.
Oh, is that 20 years old now?
But there's what's that?
Is that 20 years old now?
20 years old now. But there's a game in development. It's calling itself a spiritual successor to Splatterhouse, which we've talked fondly about Splatterhouse a little bit here and there, called Carnage Mansion. And there are a few stills out. It looks kind of cool, kind of like not super high fancy graphics cool, but kind of lo-fi graphics cool. That look really cool. But nice. I don't have a lot of horror news this time, but I do know that one of the three of us has some big news they want to talk about today. That's you. That's you. Yeah.
Superman trailer
that.
came out today, and I'm here to say, go watch it. Go watch it. Jeff, have you watched it? I made Dave watch it before we started. I don't know how you feel about Superman, but this is the best thing that I think's ever been made by man. So I'm encouraging everybody to go watch it and click the thumbs up button and all that shit. But I'm also going to announce I'm exiting the show in July, and I'll be making a Superman the Movie podcast that's just me just wearing this shirt every day. I'm going to go watch the movie and give you my thoughts every time I come out. So like this 2 or 3, maybe 4 podcasts a day for the first few weeks. Really going to try to keep this in the theaters on my own. And that's what's
Get one of those
going on.
passes, like the Regal Pass or the AMC Stubs Pass, so you can watch the movies an unlimited number of times, and that's the way to do. That is the way to do.
So I'll be sending you all the Horror House files, and then be transitioning over to my new moviegoer Superman. I'll get my James Gunn tattoo. It's getting done in the next couple months right here. And then I'm gonna get Zack Snyder over here, but with a strike through.
I wouldn't say that Chris and I are on opposite sides of Superman, because I grew up with Superman. Like, I loved Superman. But I have felt let down by Superman, and I have some issues with Superman. Jeff, where do you fall on Superman?
Yeah, it's a roller coaster. I mean, you got Christopher Reeves, which was the best Superman.
I told my wife that this trailer is the best Superman movie we've had in 40 years. This 2-minute trailer is
It looks good. They didn't have to CGI out a mustache.
It's true.
Can I spoil a trailer? If I say something, is it spoiler? Do I need to spoiler?
Jeff's
alert
not
a
watched
trailer?
it. I don't know. You gotta ask Jeff.
Go ahead and
Jeff?
spoil it.
Fucking Crypto, the super dog, which can either be totally rad or I don't know how corny Crypto's gonna be. And there he is, making an appearance here on the Horror House podcast, straight from the filming of the trailer. Crypto came straight from filming the movie to appear on the Horror House podcast with us. Thank you, Crypto.
That's how prepared I already was. But yeah,
Did you know Crypto was going to be in it?
Yeah, they put
Before the
out.
trailer came?
Yeah, they put out like a poster of him sitting next to Crypto with their backs, like looking at Earth.
Oh,
But-
I think I did see that, but I thought it was bullshit. I was like, what? No.
He's a shaggy like mutt dog this time. I'm so excited. But anyway, that's all the news I have. And Jeff is maybe less excited now. So let's get out of the news.
You're legally obligated to watch this trailer before next week.
We got a lot of work to do before next week, because next week's a big one. We'll get to that a little bit later. But let's get out of here. Let's get out of the news business. I said let's get out of this news business.
Turn. There we are.
It works so well every time, and I have no idea why. Of all the shit that breaks on this stream, that always works. The mouth, and then the letters, and then us. I don't know why. But I'm happy with it.
It is great. It is great. The end of that is the best.
All right.
So, Oculus. Before I give the back of the box summary, had you guys watched it before?
I knew of
And
it.
this has been out for a little while. 2013, fairly successful, I think. I didn't really look at box office numbers, but I think it was fairly successful. And I believe our first watch of this was a rental, not in the theaters. Around that time, we still had we had an 8-year-old, we had a 16-year-old, 13-year-old, 15-year-old. I can't keep up with ages.
You had a
of
whole
kids.
orphanage, it sounds like.
It sounds like, yeah. Which, spoiler alert, orphanages. But yeah, I've liked this movie for a long, long time. Here we go, the back of the box summary. A boy is orphaned when his parents come under the influence of an evil mirror. When he is released from the mental institution, his sister decides to expose him to the mirror again. Tragedy ensues, and gaslighting wins again. Thank you, Jeff. Gaslighting is the primary villain in this movie. I love that poster image because it's so fucking disturbing.
I'm trying to. Well, fuck. You know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna. Don't do me wrong, Google Images. I'm trying to.
Besides Alphabet.
I'm just trying to bring up the poster, and it's being a. But yeah, WWE Studios, which I was very surprised by. I don't know if I'd ever heard of that for this movie, and that gave me kind of a. I was like, what the fuck is Dave having us watch? I know vaguely about this movie. There's a mirror. There's Karen Gillan. That's about all I knew. So when I saw WWE Studios, I was like, a little confused. And
WWE Studios is pretty prolific, though.
I am.
You look confused.
Yes.
So WW Studios is pretty prolific. Started off 2002, The Scorpion King, the purveyor of perhaps the world's worst ever CGI when the scorpion rock comes out of the fucking tomb. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I saw better animation in the Sledgehammer music video. And then they mostly do a lot of action stuff. The Rundown, Walking Tall, The Marine, Behind Enemy Lines, but they also do See No Evil with Kane in 2006. Which did you guys watch that one?
Yes.
No. I know of it.
It's I feel like it's pretty standard fare slasher. It's okay for what it is. It's just a simple slasher movie. It's nothing groundbreaking. It did get a sequel. I did not watch the sequel.
That got a sequel?
Yes, it did get a sequel.
Wow.
The Call, which is a psychological thriller with Halle Berry, and I thought that one was a pretty good, tense thriller type. Leprechaun Origins. Of course, all of these WWE films, they're always trying to get somebody into these films, so a little cross promotion. Hornswoggle plays in the Leprechaun Origins. Jingle All the Way 2. They did not get Jingle All the Way 1. I've not seen 2, so I assume it's trash. But Jingle All the Way 1 with Arnold, that is a good, funny Christmas movie. I do like that one.
How do you go from the first Jingle All the Way to then Larry the Cable Guy? How does that? I don't know what I don't get it.
I don't. I think they do both. They produce But I think they do a lot of just distribution as well, which is that's got to be why some of these movies are their movies. But Oculus does not have a WWE star to kind of.
They do
Squeeze
mention the Levesque family owned the mirror. I don't know if they were the ones right before. No, I don't think I forget. But during the auction, they mentioned the Levesque family, which is Triple H. That's Triple H.
Okay.
So that was the only thing that I caught as far as wrestling wise. I don't even know if that actually was. It's a pretty unique name, so I'm gonna say it was, without any
I think
looking it up.
that is I missed that, but that's to me a great little Easter egg kind of tie.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck it, let's do it now. If you were going to Vince McMahon or Donna McMahon or whoever tells you what's his wife's name?
Linda.
She runs
I
the show.
wish I didn't know
Linda.
that.
Fucking Linda. Fucking Linda. It's fucking Linda all the time. Linda tells you you're in charge. Take a WWE wrestler and put him in this fucking movie. Who are you putting in? Where are you putting him in? Chris?
I mean, looking at modern day wrestlers, like some of them are okay actors and could be okay actors. But I mean, you have to look. I mean, if you looked at older ones, it would be way harder to pull it off. So there's some modern people that I think would do good in different roles, but nobody that sticks out that I would want to put in it. In AEW, there's a guy called Luchasaurus that wears a dinosaur mask when he wrestles. And he's a big guy. He's cool. I'd put him in the role of the Mirror.
Okay.
And that's there you go.
Jeff, you got any ideas? Where would you slide a Bam Bam Bigelow into this movie?
What's a Bam Bam Bigelow?
What's a Bam Bam Bigelow?
Hold on.
Are you pulling up a Bam Bam Bigelow image for him?
I am in on the task.
I loved me some Bam Bam Bigelow. Yeah.
There's Bam Bam.
Yeah.
That still doesn't ring a bell to you,
Bigelow.
Jeff? Nothing?
No, not at all.
Well, visually. Maybe this is a good exercise. Just visually, where would you place him in the movie? He kind of has with his tattoos, looks like the Mirror in a way.
Yeah, he's got the mirror basically tattooed on his forehead there.
Yeah, I mean, he could be in the mirror. I mean,
Just
mirror people.
Just a mirror person. That
Yeah.
that really honestly could work.
Reach out and grab you. Try to pull you in the mirror.
I'm there. Dave, did you have an idea? Because I feel like you maybe had an idea that led you to this.
So, yeah. You got a couple. So you have some cops in here. Let's throw a one-man gang. Give the cop a few lines instead of just, being foliage in the background.
Okay.
You put them in there. You got a junkyard dog. She's feeding pets to the thing. Why not have a junkyard dog in there? Just a little CGI junkyard dog sitting, in the cage there. Give me some JYD. And I really actually did not have any ideas. I just threw this at you right now because I just
Wow.
came up with it at the same time. So it's not one I thought ahead.
I'm shocked.
But it's good. It's good. We can. Uh, Karen Gillian, I thought did okay as an actress. I don't know that any of the WDE divas are great actresses.
WD-40 has divas.
WD-40 divas. Yes. We call them WDD for divas. WD divas.
Sounds like you have a stammer, which is fine.
Oh yeah. Come on, Mike Flanagan, put some WWE stars in your movies. He's doing something? What is it? He's working on a project now, isn't he?
Is it Exorcist? Is it Exorcist he's doing now?
Oh, The Exorcist. Yeah, maybe he'll put a WWE. Maybe we'll get some CM Punk in the new Exorcist movie. So maybe we'll get some Edge. That played in The Girl on the Third Floor.
Jeff is like, who are these fucking people you're talking about?
Well, the Edge was on another TV show, wasn't he?
A Vikings thing, I think. Was it a Vikings show? Or no. There's a Percy Jackson. A Stephen King one?
Yeah, it's based on Stephen King, The Colorado Kid.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, that sounds like a Dark Tower
I think
installment.
it was on Sci-Fi.
Oh, okay. Look at you. I think this Stephen King guy, I think he's going to do all right.
Maybe.
I'm calling my shot now. I'm calling it now. I think he's going to do all right.
I don't think Elon Musk likes Stephen King that much, so I don't know that it.
Yeah. Okay. I changed my mind. If Elmo doesn't like him, I guess I won't either. So the movie starts off. Yeah, it starts off with a flashback, and I didn't really think about it much. I'm glad you brought it up, Chris. There are a ton of flashbacks in this, but it's not just this. That, like, M. Night Shyamalan has his twists, and Mike Flanagan has his flashbacks.
Yeah.
House on Haunted Hill, they're constantly flashing back to when they were kids in the house. The Midnight Mass, they have a lot of flashbacks to when the dude drunk drivers the girl, and when he is in jail and prison, and other things. There's a lot of flashing back and going on. So that seems to be his thing. Here, Karen Gillian is yeah. We were seeing a Karen Gillian image of her the first time she saw me without my shirt on. She was mesmerized.
And then the towel people showed up. I remember that story. That's pretty weird.
So it opens with the flashback with the kids, and to me it is creepy. The scene when when she's in the back of the room of the auction house, and there's two statues under the sheets. There you go, and the third one appears. What did you think of that scene? I thought it was brilliant. I thought it did a good job of setting up the tension and giving you a taste of the power of the mirror.
I didn't have any strong. I don't know. I didn't have any strong feelings, really, one way or the other, for a lot of it. Not a bad thing, but I just was. Nothing really set me. Nothing really got its hooks into me a lot on this.
A lot of it. Go ahead.
No, Jeff did. What do you think?
I mean, since she was on Doctor Who, and then they have the weeping angels, and you see the kind of the creepy, um, statues behind her, and one's moving, and it's like, oh, that's this just reminded me of her. Like, oh, that's right, yeah. Be interesting to see what's going on with that.
Yeah, yeah. So Karen Gillian is, I think she's great horror nerd, but also sci-fi nerd because she is in the Doctor Who. She's also Nebula in the MCU. So fantastic. She is nerd royalty. I feel like at this point, but. Did you think what did you think of the mom and the dad and the pre-mirror family image flashbacks? Did you think they did okay? I was pretty satisfied. Sometimes families like that feel very wooden or characterized, but I thought they seemed viable as a family unit
I would
before
agree.
the mirror comes into their lives. So the kids running around while the movers are moving in and out, playing laser tag, and
I mean, it's more than just like, oh, a flashback of here's this scene, here's that scene. It's like two movies. One when they're young, one when they're older,
Yeah.
and they just weave it in together, which was nice.
so that is one of my favorite things about the way they use the flashbacks in here is that you have the flashbacks are separate things early in the movie, and as we progress and as the horror gets more and the mirror becomes more powerful, they're not just a flashback anymore. They're living in that flashback, and the worlds are kind of combining and melding. Um, so I did. What about the mirror? Just the look of the mirror. You just showed that a second ago. Um, what did you think of the look of the mirror? Because the mirror is its own character in this. They have several shots that are just like high angle shots showing the intricate framework at the top of the mirror. And what did you think of the overall design of the mirror?
The creepy mirror.
It did its job. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it could have been, honestly, my cam just moved on its own.
Like
Anyways,
a Walmart mirror.
it could have been a cheaper looking mirror, and I feel like that would have maybe creeped me out more. Just like don't make it like this extravagant piece of something. Like this, just like fucking something you got from your grandma's attic, piece of junk that I would maybe be more ready to get rid of than this visually. So I don't know. I don't know.
I think it, especially with some of those close-ups on the frame, I feel like it looks demonic. There are, I know pareidolia, am I saying that right, is real, like, and it's intense. You see faces where they're not really faces there. It's a normal action of our brain, and it looks like demonic faces whenever you see anything that close-ups on these frames and the intricacy. I don't know. I don't know if a planar mirror works as well given the history. Now, if you could change the history a little bit, and I think you're right there. But with the history as written, it's um, 1700s.
And they say in the movie they don't really know when it was created, but they know when it first appeared, apparently.
Yep. 1754, Philip and Virginia Lasser, which is where it got the name. The 17th Earl of Leicester the first known owner of the mirror. I actually, disappointingly, did not get an answer, but I did reach out to Mike Flanagan Film and asked if for some insight. Was the mirror created with the intention of evil, or did it was it imbued that intentionally, or did it pick up this evil entity accidentally? Like, what happened here? Obviously, I didn't get an answer, but I don't feel like there's any necessarily thing in this movie that gives us that answer. Did you guys pick up anything that kind of answers that question?
I don't think that. No. I'm
What
also
about
pretty slow for catching any kind of backstory that may be just like a hint of something. Because let me tell you how dumb I am. I knew this was a Mike Flanagan movie going into it, right? And I knew that Kate Siegel was in it. This whole movie, I get to the end, I'm like, where the fuck was Kate Siegel? Was she like a restaurant person, or like was she like a passing thing that I never noticed?
one of the cops?
I did not recognize her somehow at all as the main thing.
Ow.
I spent the whole movie, I'm like, where the fuck is she? I know she's in this. It said she's in this.
Just hide.
So I'm no source of picking things up, information.
So she's actually playing Marisol, which is the most recent victim of the glass before Alan and Marie become the victims. Marisol is the victim right before that from 1975. So she is the most recent victim. She's probably definitely the most front and center of the mirror people.
Yeah.
In this, I feel like there's another movie that gives us a clue to the origins. And possibly that is the movie Mirrors from 2008, starring Kiefer Sutherland. Yes, the Amy Smart kill scene. Because do the mirrors in that kind of work in the same way? They create visions that and kind of feed on people the same way. The biggest difference is that mirror entity seems like they can jump from mirror to mirror, where the Lasser glass has them concentrated in one location. That I think, and it's been a while since I've watched Mirrors all the way through. I watched it this summer or fall, and fell asleep pretty early in. But I think they tell you that that is accidental. Like there's a mass murder or something like that happens, and as the woman dies, she's staring into the mirror. So the mirror's like her soul goes into the mirror, and that's where everything kind of happens from. So potentially, that is where this entity ends up in the mirror, is just accidental. The other possibility, another movie we have discussed on the Horror House, is Constantine. And remember the opening for the movie Constantine, John Constantine imprisons the demon as he's exorcising the little girl in the Mexican girl. He imprisons the mirror in the demon in the mirror, and then sends it out the window, and it shatters on the taxi cab. And so, is it possible that this was used in that kind of ritual, and that's how the demonic entity got in the mirror? Maybe they trapped it in there and then intended to dispose of it, but then were not powerful enough to dispose of the mirror. I would love to see something, maybe not a full-length movie, but something, maybe a like something nice and tight, hour and a half, or maybe even a short that kind of delves into the history of the Lasser glass more. maybe a mockumentary or something. I would love it. I would love it.
Well, I would be intrigued. I would watch that. Or you don't think the mystery of it's enough? You need you you're like, yes, bring it.
I want more,
It needs
and
to
I
happen.
am afraid that I would be disappointed once I got it.
You would be.
Yeah, because that's what we do. Like we're all the time like, no, you can't. Like we want more. Yeah, we want more of Paranormal Activity #1. That was so great, and we want more. And then we get 12 of them, and we're like, oh, I don't know what I have.
Yeah. Can we? I am not as big a fan of this as you. Clearly, I can tell that, which is fine. That's cool. 2 scenes in this I thought were great, though. No matter what I think of any of other parts of the movie, good or bad, the nail and the light bulb. But I have problems with both those for another reason. The blood's too fake in this entire movie. It's too red. It's my biggest
too
problem.
bright red.
Yeah, it's
Yep,
it's like 70s Savini got sucked out of the 70s, brought into 2013, and was like, mix us up some blood, Tom. But the nail scene I thought was even more like inducing than the light bulb. Just I've not put enough thought into why that is to me, but yeah, I think I would just much rather in real life tear my fingernail off on my than just bite glass. I think that's just what it is.
I couldn't help but think of the fingernails in Goldblum's The Fly.
Oh yeah,
and that is, this was a great like depiction, but the bright redness of the blood is not that bright red.
It is quite red.
It did throw me out a little bit. So if he peeled that off and you tone that color down a little bit, and you give me some like flesh pull, then I think you sell it a little bit more. But it is pretty bad already. It made me cringe. Like fuck. So.
Okay, down the line. Jeff, nail or light bulb? Which would you rather? Which is worse to you?
Oh, light bulb in the mouth definitely is the word.
Dave, light bulb or mouth? Light bulb or nail? Sorry, which is worse?
I gotta admit that the light bulb is worse because it's in my fucking mouth. I mean, but your fingers are so sensitive. Anything that hurts your I talk a lot about how things that happen to your fingers are worse than things that happen to like the flesh on your arm. Getting your finger stuck to draw your blood, or to check your blood sugar, or to see if you check your hemoglobin before you donate blood, that hurts worse than the big ass needle they put in your arm when you donate. And I think it's because your fingers are so sensitive. They're wired to be sensitive to every little touch and feel. So that clearly is very, very fucking painful.
Okay, my last question about the light bulb specifically. She bites into it, right?
Yeah. Like an apple.
Like an apple. But after she realizes that it is a light bulb, she does this whole slow pull out the glass. Very, I mean, I can understand not wanting to do any more biting to limit the damage that could happen still. Leave it, but it just seemed so slow to me at a certain point that I got removed. I'm like, I would have spit this shit out so fast, at least to a certain point. Like maybe I would have been in shock for a second, but she was so slow to remove this stuff. I was kind of taken out a little bit. Thoughts, opinions?
Not like the slow of it. I thought it was good because it's it tries to build the suspense of it, and you're just kind of curious, like how big of a shark's in her mouth.
If I remember right, there's a auditory cue that made it sound like she didn't just take a bite, that she took a bite and then chewed.
Yeah.
So, question. I got a question. Same scene. So she thinks she's biting the apple. Fuck you. It's not an apple. It's a light bulb. Her brother comes in. Fuck you. It's not a light bulb. It's an apple.
What's the title of the movie, Jeff?
Gaslighting mirror.
Yeah, the gaslighting mirror.
That's what I'm going to name this video when we put it on YouTube.
Would that have had more effect without the second, like, I tricked you, it really was an apple? If you just leave it as, oh, she really bit the light bulb, would have meant more? Because when then fuck you, it actually really was an apple. To me, it's like, okay, you built up all this suspense and there's this emotional and oh, it got you. No, it didn't really.
Yeah.
It felt like it's like maybe that's a sign that it really is the ultimate gaslighter. It's teasing you. Baby, I want to do that to you. Boom, punch her in the fucking eye again. So
this is Dave's solo right now. This is Dave's opinions.
Don't put me on there. Don't cancel me.
I would have liked to have seen more stuff like this, and get progressively worse. I mean, how do you get worse than this? I don't know. I'm not the writer. They're the writer. But some more things down this kind of alley of terribleness. I don't feel like anything in the movie is as terrible. Nothing made me go, ugh, except for those two scenes. I would have liked to have seen some more things like that. I mean, there are, her husband, that's one thing, but that didn't really get anything out of me. I'm like, I didn't care about this guy in the first place.
There is a problem with that.
He's brushed off the entire time he's in the movie.
He's so unimportant to the film.
Yeah. That may be why.
That I don't think it has any weight. I think if it...
Call me back in an hour, bitch.
Yeah.
Hello? Fuck off.
I'll call you in an hour.
Why am I doing a Karen Gillan as Batman? I'm Karen Gillan. Call me back later. Bye. I love you too.
So, it just keeps coming, guys. Here is my big tie here. And this is a stretch. So roll with it. Keep an open mind. Tim is an orphan because his parents are killed by the mirror. We've already established that John Constantine is alive in this universe because he fucks with mirrors and demons. So I'm booking it. John Constantine is alive in this universe. Tim is an orphan who spends time in a mental health institute, gets out only to kill his fucking sister and go probably back into a mental health institute because he's screaming that he didn't do it. It was the fucking mirror. Eventually, he'll probably get back out. And will he be not a young boy, but maybe he'll be a little bit older? Will he get taken in by a wealthy billionaire who is also an orphan and wants to fight crime? Is he fucking Nightwing?
No.
Because the actor is Nightwing from the Teen Titans TV show.
Oh, yeah, I see that now. I see him face now. That's why I know him.
So is this a DCU movie?
EU.
DCEU?
That's the
and Elseworlds, one of the Elseworlds movies.
I'll give that to you. That's not where I thought you were going. I thought you were going to say he comes back later and he's Kiefer Sutherland from that movie, but I don't remember that movie well enough to know that could tie it in good enough. I don't think it does.
It's been too long since I watched that through, and really, I'm traumatized by the Amy Smart death. Yeah, I don't even know if that's a good movie.
I don't either.
But it's definitely probably getting nominated, at least if it doesn't win, the Chuddy for the most talked about movie that we did not do on the show this season.
Yeah. Jeff, have you seen
'Cause I think
Mirrors?
I'm not for sure if I have or not.
All we can tell you is that Kiefer Sutherland's in it, and Amy Smart had a pretty radical death scene.
That is absolutely all I can tell you.
And there's our box description for if we ever do that movie. Kiefer Sutherland's in it. There was a crazy thing that happened later. End. Another weird movie from about that time was that Michael Keaton movie with the white noise. You remember that one?
Oh yes, with the EVP.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I don't even remember if that was good. I just know it exists, and it was about that same time period.
Yeah,
it was very good.
That's all I remember.
That yeah, the early 2000s were lousy with ghosts apparently. So, and then the girl Ghostbusters came, and then you didn't see ghost movies no more.
Yeah, was it really that bad? Was it really that bad? Dave, sing Arms of an Angel. For pennies a day. You can support a female Ghostbuster. Okay, stop.
The angels, they have arms.
Is that technical difficulties worthy? That it was pretty. A female.
I mean,
Ghostbuster.
does anyone know more? Could you swear that that's not the next line?
No.
Maybe then I'm going to say it is. And maybe I'm gaslighting you, and maybe I'm not.
I'm sure you are.
I know you don't care enough to look it up.
It wouldn't be the first time, and it wouldn't. Yeah.
It's more fun to figure out if you're singing the right words or not. Yeah, that sounds right.
There's somebody that I want to talk about, who we talked about briefly.
Bigelow?
Kind of. Rory Cochrane. Who I was a big fan of from Dazed and Confused and Empire Records in the 90s. I thought he was great, but I mean, those are very different. I mean, let's be honest, those don't require an extended acting range to get through a stoner guy or like a weird, like stoic record kid. Like this would require a little more, and I didn't love him in this. He was I think probably my biggest hurdle was when he becomes deranged as it continues on. I didn't feel like he went enough into it. I didn't feel like there was enough there for a difference. It just...
So I think I know what the problem is that he wasn't likable enough to start. He seems like a fucking jackass. Yeah, he's got a fucking headshot. What kind of dickhead has a headshot?
Whose dad has a headshot?
So,
here's Dave's headshot. Here's Jeff's headshot. Here's mine.
Yeah, well, we're dickheads, so.
Those aren't really headshots. Those aren't really.
Right, thank you.
But I mean, I expected some poses, gentlemen. Next time, be on your pose game. I'll call it pose off, and then we'll get some music ready. That way, randomly, you never know, like Mothman ass.
Some nice house music.
Dave, pose. Perfect. Jeff looking inquisitive and kind of puzzled.
He's waiting. You guys catch him by surprise. Yeah, I agree. He's a dickhead from the start, so I don't feel like you
That may be it.
have enough contrast with him when he's lost his fucking mind. So I do want to hit on that. So why didn't the mirror really fuck with the kids the way it did the parents. And I actually saw some good ideas about this week. Um, One of the big things is that the demon or whatever, the mirror, the entities, whatever it uses past trauma to to get into you. And the kids, like, they're carefree kids. They don't have anything yet. The wife, clearly, she's obsessed about her body image. She has the fucking C-section scars, and I kind of get the feeling like maybe there was some infidelity in Cochran's past. So just another, he's a fucking dickhead. So it doesn't make his turn evil contrast against goodness.
Right.
But she loses her fucking mind in a totally different way than the husband does. The creepiest thing that the husband does is not even when he's got the gun and he shoots his wife or he's going to shoot the kids. The most subtle creepy thing that I liked they did with the husband was when they walk into the office and he's just sitting there staring at the mirror, and it's like right there, it's just a fucking, now that's a dumb fucking face on his face. Like, he's got a dumb fuck look on his face right there.
Now, if he'd talked to the kids the way he talked when he was a kid, he's like, "Are you cool? Are you cool?" And the kids are like, "What does that mean?" And he's like, "Okay." But that's not what happened.
No. That's almost the same dumb fuck look on his face, though. That's if being stoned out of your mind was a facial expression.
Now, could we tie this? The timeline is a little loose and fancy free for a dude that was supposed to be a teenager in the 70s, so we'll have to bend time a little bit. Potentially, there's not really a time given for this, is there?
So yeah,
I mean, technology speaking, you could maybe figure something out, but
he was a teenager in the 70s. By 2013, he is now, let's put him young in the 70s. Let's put him 15. And so by 2013, where he's 45. So I feel like that timeline works out pretty good.
So could this be the stoner from Dazed and Confused?
I feel like it could be. So he gave up weed and he sold out and became a fucking yuppie. He's doing deals. It never really says like what he does. I work in business. Hollywood don't fucking know what real jobs are. It's like
a writer.
Is it a writer? Because he's got fucking clients and yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like he's got an ambiguous Hollywood job. So, again, Hollywood don't know what they think. Hollywood just thinks poor people, you just rub some dirt on them, they're poor. That's then you make them poor. If you want to make somebody ugly, put their hair in a bun and put some glasses on them. If you want to give them a job, just have them peck away at a computer a little bit. There, instant job. What are you doing? I'm taking calls from clients. Hello, Bill? I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. And we're going to get this deal done. That's my rant. I'm going to get canceled. I'm never making one.
But if you know you're going to get canceled before you do it, doesn't that cancel it out in some kind of a way?
It cancels the cancel. Cancels the cancel.
Lost the game.
Any other points either of you would like to go over?
This poor kid and the dumbness, the fucking idiocy of his fucking sister. Why did you have to do this? Just smash the fucking mirror and be done.
Yeah, but they tried to smash it.
set up the fucking thing and leave. Like,
Oh,
no
set up
dirt.
the yeah.
Set up the fucking thing and leave. You don't have to give it house plants. You don't have to give it fucking the dog. You're married to the fucking dude who owns the fucking auction house. Like, you could have smashed this and sucked his fucking dick and everything's okay. You know? You didn't need to do all that. You didn't need to do all that. If your plan worked, you re-traumatized your brother. Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot, sis. If the plan works. So.
Now, I mean, can we even believe the end of this movie? Sorry, go on, Jeff.
No, it's just that she has this whole elaborate setup for the whole thing. Like, she's like already like knows way too much about it, even though they didn't know much about it when they were kids. So she's researched it. So she's got everything set up to like capture all this stuff that happened to basically prove to her brother that this is what happened. You know, her dad was not a psycho, and that's pretty much, I think, it's why she's doing it. Is like she needs proof to show that he's not crazy. Their dad wasn't crazy. You know, she's got that trauma.
So it's all out of selfishness.
Yeah.
Because her brother's doing fine. He got out. He's going to do fine. He got help. He's going to do fine. You could have smashed the fucking mirror and went on with your life and been like, hey, bro, it's all over. Thank you. We're moving on. Now he's fucking, he's fucked again. He's going back in. He's probably never getting out this time. But
I thought about that as he was getting dragged off. I'm like, what kind of sentencing would this be? Like, would they just not even? Does this even require a judge? Do they just like throw him under the prison with this?
Yeah, just go straight to the fucking mental hospital. Do not pass go. So, the other thing, so the mirror cracks when he shoots his dad, and his dad flies back into it. I mean, I don't know what kind of hand cannon he was shooting his dad with, but I don't know that that's enough force to propel him back hard enough to fucking... It did look like maybe it was a 44 Magnum or something, but if that is enough to crack the glass, then the 40-pound anchor with 40 extra pounds of weight on it smashing into your sister's skinny-ass neck probably is still going to fucking crack the mirror, too. That's all I'm saying. Like, the mirror needs another crack in it.
Yeah.
So.
Now, did you see I guess there was... I watched Good Bad Flicks on YouTube. I really like his videos. Did a video on this. A lot of good stuff. If you want more in-depth information, how do you get more in-depth than us? I don't know, but he did. You can go watch that. At the end, he says that there was a like in credits scene that they had at one point and decided to cut that had the like, I forget what guy, but like inspecting the crack on it, and then when he moves, it shows Karen Gillan's ghost, because she's like the new like recent ghost that will be haunting whoever gets it next. Sure. Why am I waving my hands like crazy? God. Anyways,
Seven spirits.
But I kind of liked it. I kind of wish they hadn't cut it. Thoughts, opinions on a post credit.
The
idea of it, anyway. Yeah, obviously you haven't seen it.
I'm a sucker for a good post credit scene. Fuck you for that, Marvel, by the way. Used to be able to watch a movie and fucking move on. Now I gotta watch a movie and watch half the fucking credits. So
it's a game of willpower for me. I will stop a movie cold and be like, I wonder if there was one, and then won't. Like this, I never would have found out because I stopped like right as the credits started rolling. I would have found out from one of you, but I saw the Good Bad Flicks after I watched it, and I was like, it's not, but there's could have been.
Long walk for a short drink of water. I watched We're the Millers the other day. Are you familiar with We're the Millers?
It has Adam
No.
Warlock in it, but I've never watched it.
You've never watched We're the Millers? It's hilarious. It's
I
really
don't like
good.
Jason
and
Sudeikis. He's odd to me. He's odd duck.
Yeah, I get that, but he does pretty good, and it's got a fucking, it's got a very beautiful woman in it, and she's half naked multiple times.
Did you forget her name?
And no, it's not Leprechaun.
But it is
Jennifer Aniston.
But it is
bad
related
fucking-
to Leprechaun, which is
It should be, yeah, it should. So, Jennifer Aniston is badass. I mean, obviously, after dealing with the trauma of fighting off a fucking evil leprechaun, she becomes a stripper, and then later on, We're the Millers happens. But there's a kid in We're the Millers that wants to date their not daughter, and he's got a tattoo across his neck that says "No regrets." And Jason Sudeikis is asking him, like, really? Not even one letter? Me, if I don't immediately Google to see if a movie has post-credit scene, or if I leave the theater and then find out it has a post-credit scene, all the regrets. My tattoo is right here. All the regrets. So, all right, that was a long walk for a short drink of water. I get it. But
fair. Jeff, how do
I
you
blame
feel
me.
about in credit scenes? Can you drop them cold, or do you gotta make sure that there's not one?
I mean, I like to sit there and wait, make sure there's not one. Because I like to. Oh, there's something else extra, and it's really like one of those things. Like the movie's over, if you're satisfied with this, and they have a post-credit scene that might add more to it, then it's kind of fun. You can like, okay, this is part of the movie, or you can just like, that wasn't that great, and then just like, this is the movie.
We got kind of 3 different degrees of in credits.
Yep.
Dave's very hardcore. Jeff wants to see them. I'll drop a bitch. I'll drop one flat.
And I absolutely admit, most of the time, not worth the fucking time I wait. But I still want to see them. I still feel like I'm missing something if I don't get it.
Another long rock of rock for a slock walker is
Easy for you to say.
we'll got and another
that one, Jeff.
one of those things. I went to the movies with my neighbors when I was a kid to see the Beverly Hillbillies remake with James Varney.
Jim Varney.
Jim Varney. I called it. Sorry for your government name. I know you're not with us anymore, but for some reason they stayed for that whole credits, and this was like 92 or 3 maybe. And I've been weirded out ever since. Maybe that may be because of it. I'm like, why are we still here? Let's leave.
I cannot imagine sitting for the credits of that fucking thing.
Anything in that day and age, you're like, how come I don't need to know who the key grip was on
grip was.
Yeah.
I gotta know who the best boy grip was. I do love me some Jim Varney though.
Why'd I call him James Varney? I should have threw up another technical difficulties. Are we ready to rate this movie? Your silence I will take as a
Yes, sir.
I was not watching the screen and was I was looking at my notes. I'm like, where's my confirmations? All right. Dave, this was your pick this week. And it is also your pick next week. Because it's really an episode. And we'll get to that. We'll get to that here in a minute. But I guess I'll start, and then we'll go Joe, and then we'll go Dave. Right down this line. So and okay. So let's do this. I don't love this movie. I don't dislike it a lot, which doesn't make a lot of sense. I understand. I just wasn't that invested into it. I tried to, but it just wasn't. I think this is just one of those movies that just wasn't for me. There wasn't anything specifically I'd say was wrong with it. There were a couple things I didn't like about it. Rory Cochran's kind of performance wasn't my favorite. The blood was not a great color. Some of the flashbacks, there was a lot of flashbacks, and now that Jeff has schooled me on the gaslighting mirror, I'm much more flexible on my dislike of that. So I won't go as hard on that aspect because I enjoy the gaslighting mirror immensely, and I think that's what they should call it. You know how for the past several years a movie gets another Blu-ray release or 4K release or whatever, comes out, and they've got some bullshit stupid cover that's not the original cover, and you're like, what is this garbage? Why did you even do this? Shout Factory is cool because they'll do the reversible thing so you can get the original. Long story short, I think they should do that with this movie, but with the title change. The Gaslighting Mirror. I'm going to give this one a 6. It's my least favorite Flanagan that I've seen, which I'm surprised by. But yeah, that's where I sit. Jeff, you are next.
Yeah, I mean, the acting I thought was great, and it's the story is good. It's the whole gaslighting mirror thing. It messes with you because you don't know what's going on, because it starts more with you see what he thinks happened, and it's all mixed up with all that. So you're like, okay, what is going on? And then everything just happens. You think it's like, oh, she's eating an apple, and oh, she ate a light bulb, but no, it's really an apple, and it's all that back and forth stuff. Like, just leaves you confused. I mean, I thought the ending was good. I mean, it ended pretty much the way that it started. So,
evil wins in the end.
I'd give it a 6.5. I mean, I enjoyed the movie, but it was just confusing.
There you have it. Dave.
Right.
Last but not least, your pick.
So,
let us preach to us.
I think it's pretty obvious. I tend to rate high, but I really, really like this movie. This is one I have gone back to many, many times when I want something that actually delivers some scares and creepy vibes, and I think this does a good job of that. I think this is an early example of maybe what would become like that elevated horror genre where the trauma and the horror kind of collide, and so this kind of becomes that. Is the possession of the parents, is that a metaphor for a failing marriage and the trauma that it inflicts on the kids? Am I a fucking douchebag that's reading too much into that? It is early Flanagan. And there's actually was another Oculus Chapter 3 filmed before this one. This was a planned to be a multiple installment anthology series. And as far as I know, is there only the two, like Chapter 3 and then Oculus are the only two they filmed. And I've not seen Chapter 3. It was actually filmed first, but it is pretty, even though it's not the first Flanagan. It is pretty early Flanagan, and I tend to really like his stuff. So we didn't talk about his stuff today, but Hush, I really liked Hush. Before I Wake, I think, is that the one with the boy that has the
That one I
whatever he
wasn't
dreamed
sure of.
through in I think it's the boy that these people foster a kid, and everything he dreams becomes real. So when he first moved into the house and he's full of love, he dreams about butterflies, and they get up the next day and then the house is full of fucking butterflies. But then the butterflies turn black and become this evil entity, and it's because his fear of like being yanked from their house, and he's had a bad childhood. So yeah, okay, are you trying to turn me against this? The fight over Hill House and Bly Manor continues. But before I week, I didn't care for that as much, but it's Hush. I really liked the Ouija Origin of Evil. I really like that. Gerald's Game is pretty good. Hill House. Now this is where he really takes off, and I think this is where he's best in a miniseries that he can really focus on character, which is very strange considering, you mentioned it, Chris, my biggest knock on Oculus is that the husband, I could care less about him. Even Karen and Tim, we don't get a whole lot. Like we get a little bit more Tim, I feel like, than we get Karen. You know, we have her where she wakes up in the night terror because she had the dream about the mirror, and so you get a little taste. But I think at this point, Flanagan hadn't developed that. He developed a visual style here with the flashbacks, but he hasn't developed that writing style of the character development that he goes through later. So, you know, I really love Hill House. There's a lot of character. I'll give you this. There's a lot of character development in Bly Manor. I just hate that it never pays off as a horror movie, and it doesn't pay off as a lesbian love story either. So it fails on both fronts. But the character are there. There is character development, and up until like the last couple episodes, I really liked the character development of Bly Manor. Dr. Sleep, I think, is the first time in a movie where you get character development, and it is not Torrance. It is Rose the Hat. You get good character development with Rose the Hat. He shows, he doesn't tell. He shows her relationship to the rest of the tribe, the Knot. They call themselves the True Knot. We're gonna have to deep dive into this sometime too.
I still haven't watched Dr. Sleep. I've seen part of it, but don't they have eyes like that?
At points, when they're inhaling the steam, then their eyes kind of glow like that. Yeah. Rose, dude, you can have your porcupine girl. Rose the Hat is the sexiest horror movie villain I've ever seen. She just fucking does it for me. And she's not even crazy like Mia Goth. Usually it's the fucking crazy ones that get me. She's not even crazy like that, but that Midnight Mass, man, Midnight Mass is so good. I can't believe we don't talk about it more on here, but it is so good. Midnight Club, we started watching it. He directed 2 episodes. I think he wrote the series though, didn't he?
I have not watched it, and I have not. I think we talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, I really liked Fall of the House of the Usher though. The Fall of the House of Usher, I really liked. So,
Very good.
Again, I don't want to get too far astray.
Pretty
Oculus is really good. I really like Oculus, and I can see the foundations of where he goes as a director, as he grows, as he becomes better a writer, as he becomes a better director, and he develops that ability to really focus on character. Again, ironic because we don't get that here. So I'm actually going to change mine, and I'm going to come down to a 7.5 because at the end of the day, I still think this is creepy vibes. This is a movie that gets me. I'm sucked in. It feels disjointed early with the flashbacks because you feel, Jeff pointed out, you feel like you're watching two separate movies. But as the movie progresses, they blend. They're no longer a flashback. They're living the hallucination of the memory, and by the time that shit is going on, it's too fucking late. There are a lot of subtle things. When Tim first says, I'm calling somebody, and he goes outside and he's making the phone call, and then she's like, Tim, and he wakes up and he never stepped outside. So even from that point, I don't know that they could, by the time that happens, they can't leave the sphere of influence because the mirror has got them and can trick them at any point. So you can tell by my passion, I do like this movie a whole lot.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you went down. What made you go down?
Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going back to 8.
It's already set in stone, Dave.
It is not
digital
fucking
stone.
set in stone.
That is digital teal stone up there. I chiseled it with my own hands.
6.5 plus 6 plus 8 equals divided by 3. I still can't push it over the 7 mark, but it's up to an average score of 6.8.
We did it, Jeff.
You crushed my hopes and dreams. I would have to lie to bump us enough to get it over a 7. But I stand by. I'm gonna give it an 8.
There you have it. There you have it.
Will you watch this again?
I watched this today, and yesterday.
You watched it twice?
Okay. Yes.
What, on purpose, or why?
Yeah. No, I was just wanting to watch it again because it's just to get that, like, okay, you watch it once and then you know what's going on, so then you try to watch it again to see.
Oh, okay.
Detail and
yeah.
I watched it today. Because I didn't realize that today was Thursday until this morning. I'm like, I have to fix the sound for the stream and watch this movie in one day somehow.
Dude, preach. I have been
I don't know where yesterday went.
I can't wait till the first of the year, man. I love Christmas, and I can't wait to see everybody on Christmas and to open presents. I can't wait to get it scheduled where I can see Mom and Don and where I can see Dad and Rose, to see you guys. But I'm also ready for this the first of the year because this holiday shit fucking sucks, man.
It's late. It's late. 3 beers made me sleepy.
Next week, how many? I don't know if there's anybody even in the Twitch right now. Next week,
hundreds,
cryptids,
at least.
Cryptids. I feel like cryptids and the UFO episodes always kind of bring people around.
Is it 4 or 5?
I don't know.
So I'm excited. We've been gone.
Is this?
Do what?
Is this the first cryptids episode with Jeff, or did Jeff do cryptids? He did cryptids. One.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember if the one we just did months ago. The first one with Jeff was the third one or the fourth one. But we're to the point that if we're Hollywood, we have to start coming up with a good subtitle for it, or because there's just so many numbers. We've done so many sequels to it now. It's embarrassing for us to keep putting numbers at the end of it, so we'll have to come up with a good sequel, a good subtitle, like the Curse of the Cryptids, the Return of the Cryptids, the Cryptid Strike Back. I don't know.
Blood of the Cryptids from Hell.
Oh,
they're back.
That's a Hammer version. That's a Hammer horror Cryptids episode.
So
the Cryptids 2025 AD.
If you have any cryptids you'd like for us to talk about, you should get them in now before next Thursday, because we're just going to pick our own like we usually do, and then you won't have put any input into this, and it could have been your cryptid that we picked, and then we didn't, because we just picked our own because you didn't tell us. Can't read your mind.
We're willing. Yeah, we're willing. We're not psychic, but we're willing to work with you here.
Does anybody have an idea of a cryptid they want to do yet? I've not really looked up yet, but I'm ready to jump down the rabbit hole.
Several months ago, there was a TikTok trend, this song called "The Dirt Man." And I have looked into this, and the Dirt Man is a cryptid. I'm going to do the cryptid of the Dirt Man.
That's a real cryptid?
And then it is now.
Sure.
Cryptids are like Slender Man, that when you believe, then you give them power.
If you don't
kind of like
bring any new ones into the fold, they're going to die out. And it'll leave, the older ones won't have as much credence, because there's not been any new ones. Why should we believe?
Because there's no Clearwater revival.
Yeah. Go watch our Phantasm episode if you haven't. It's a good one. We get into a little bit of credence on that one. But until next time. I'm Chris. That's Jeff. Wave bye to everybody. And Dave. Dave, sing us out with your credence rendition.
It was a nightmare coming on so true. 10,000 million guns loaded. See? I can't sing right now, man. Satan cries again. Better run through the jungle. Do-do-do-do. Better run through the jungle. Oh, don't look back to see what's chasing you in the jungle.
I'm afraid to stop the stream. That we'll miss some of this. All right, I'm going to stop it now. Goodbye. Okay, now I'm going to stop it.
Okay. I don't believe he stopped it. He's pulling a fast one.